Houston, it's that time again. Before we start episode 6, Rod, you got anything you want to say?
Hey man, hey, shout out to the city, man. Everybody that's out there striving, everybody that's out there grinding. Hey man, it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. Hey, that's what it is, man. Tre Rogers. H-Town, let's get it. What's next podcast?
Let's get into the show.
Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Dear John, the iconic legend Quincy Jones said, "To know where you came from makes it easier for you to get where you're going." Sean Diddy Combs said, "Everyone has challenges and lessons to learn. We wouldn't be who we are without them." If 2018 and the last 6 years taught you something, it's that anything is attainable with the right focus and determination. Continue to build. Continue to promote your vision. Continue to inspire creativity and make more creatives. In closing, Nas said, "No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. The first chapter of your vision's movements is done. However, you're still a visionary. Peace and blessings. John Ross."
Yo, it feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigger, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby, and I'm wildin' in my body.
Houston, Texas, we're back. Welcome back to the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. My name is John Ross Dyke, and before we get started with the episode, I want to introduce our social media handles so we don't bother ourselves with them later on, man. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at John Ross Dyke and still_visionary. The website is www.stillvisionary.com, and please follow me on LinkedIn and on the Facebook channel. Raj.
Man, at Tre Rogers, TREORGERS, man. That's on IG, that's on Facebook, that's on anything you can find me on. If you're looking for me on streaming media, man, it's the same thing. TRE Rogers, man. Hey, appreciate the time, appreciate the opportunity, y'all.
So before we get started, man, I want to, to a good episode. Let's shoot this right quick to a good episode, man. To a good episode, and then I want to present you with this this black SVI T-shirt. I give it to every feature that comes on the podcast. Oh, thank you for inviting me into your space and allowing me to get this episode out and off of my belt, man. I appreciate you,
man. Thank you so much. This is what it's about, man. It's not just things like, heavy acclaim. It's moments like these where like the mutual respect for each other's craft is shown. I appreciate this, man.
No doubt. So let's get right into it, man. Today is March the 16th, 2019.
Big facts.
And we have 290 days left in the 2019 year. And I did that as a way to be able to align my goals and have just a perspective of where I need to be at the end of the year.
Right.
Where I want to start with you is this, man. I'm so excited about this episode, Raj, because it's it's very seldom that somebody else, some other artist's career parallels to yours.
Man.
And I remember having conversations in college about the dopest MCs. I remember playing basketball with you in college. And then I remember the moment where you said, "Hey man, tell me what you think about my work." Talk to us about that, man, and how you got started and what it is that you do, man.
Man, well, hip hop lyricist from the city. Shout out to Harlem Clark. shout out to all the other places I've lived as well. South Park, shout out to Cutler Middle School, Worthing High School, TSU.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
But at the end of the day, man, I got started shortly after my dad passed in 2011. I had no clue that that was burning inside of me. I looked up one day at a freestyle session at the house. You know how youngins get when they get full of that juice. And I cranked the freestyle. Shout out to Durcell. He told me, "Hey man, you got talent," and we broke as hell anyway. What is the worst that could happen if you were to try to, expound on that talent? From that day forward, I put the pedal to the metal, man, and picked up the pen daily, every day after that, and got better and better and better until it got to the moment where my drive, I started to want support. I started to actually think that, hey, man, I think I could do this for real.
Yeah.
After, listening to the greats, the Nas's of the world, the Jay-Z's, the J. Cole's, the Kendricks. After listening to them and seeing that, like, man, they have a message. This is the lane that I want to be in. I remember the conversation that we had at the Towers where I was arguing, debating rather, that Lil Wayne was the greatest ever. And at the time, I might have been 18, 19 years old, and it wasn't fully clear at the time. But
let me stop you right there, fam, because I know where you're going with it, and from that conversation, because I remember the very exact conversation, I was so strong on the fact of who we agreed with, and I remember back to the conversation we had on Facebook, because I'm talking about the 2015 era. You know what I'm saying? When you had hit me on Facebook, and I remember I was just passing through, and I wanted you to check out some of my work.
Yeah.
And you said, you know what, hey man, brother, I'm doing this now. Tell me what you think about it, yada, yada, yada. And I remember in the conversation you said, I have to come back and apologize for what I said back in the day because you were right. But nothing against Lil Wayne because he's a great too, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It took me a while to finally realize that, we have a lot of gems in Southern hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And go back with you because I want to make sure that I got that out there because I got a Nas bias, but I'm not
right.
I'm not biased to great music.
And with that being said, man, I think as new artists, well, let me say this first. As new artists, what you ultimately end up doing is listening to the people that invoke a response in you the most, and you tailor yourself for a while until you find yourself. And I found myself listening to a lot of Nas and a lot of these lyrical people that are cast in this light. So I wanted you to not really validate me, but hey, at least say, hey man, you're on the right path.
Yeah, and man, because the very first, I toggled with which way I wanted to go with this episode because, it's very seldom that you get on a bandwagon before the bandwagon gets big. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's one of those things where I wanted to make sure that when you blow up, I can say, hey, I knew this kid and I had an interview with him before the time came, but I toggled which way I wanted to go because I wanted to start off with this, man. You said in Remember, and rapping wasn't even a part of the plan. I wanted to start off with that question. What was the plan for you?
And the plan was to go to TSU, graduate, go and get another degree and potentially another one. And I was going to be Dr. Polk. I was going to be working in psychology, man. That's what I was going to be doing.
Yeah.
Psychology in a lot of different realms.
Yeah.
IO or, basically just dealing with psychology, period.
Yeah.
Man. That's what I used to be on when I was younger. In my more foolish days, I used to think that it would make me be able to read people's minds and I would be able to dictate conversations with girls. So I used to want to be a psychologist for that. But once I really tapped into what it was about, like, it became interesting. Like, man, like, we all have issues. Some of them are short-sighted, some of them are deeply rooted, but we all have something. And that was my interest before. And it actually parallels with rap. It actually parallels with hip-hop.
How so?
Because it's a depiction, and it is a an exhibit of what you feel.
Mhm.
You know, therapy is just a process of you speaking to someone and getting it out.
Mm.
You know, the only difference is that the person that I'm talking to is these notebooks or these legal pads around here, this microphone over here. It's the only difference. And you know that you put together a good piece of therapy when other people can come to you and tell you that your lyrics have done something for them personally.
Mm.
And those are the intangible gifts that comes from this thing, man.
Mm. So, this is the episode for me that it's heartfelt, and it's one of those episodes where in pre-production, because I said last episode in episode 5 that it's not scripted, but this is an episode that I actually put some thoughts down on paper.
Okay.
Because I wanted you to understand how intricately I am involved in your journey, in your craft. And who are your influences? Who influences you as an MC to be a better MC?
Man, it's funny. I was just talking about studying the greats. I would have to go with the generic top 4 for the moment to get into the conversation. Of course, you have your Pacs, your Biggies, your Jay-Z's, your Nas's. And then after that, you have the leaders of the new school. You have your J. Cole's, you have your Kendricks, you have you have Kanye West on the production side.
Yeah.
Gil Scott-Heron, as it pertains to having a message. And I feel as if anybody in Houston would be lying if they said that Beyonce and Destiny's Child wasn't a part of their motivations musically. Yeah, like, I mean, I can't lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what
Anita
songs?
Baker as well too.
Anita Baker. What songs on your mind right now?
Shoot. Right now, man. Well, shameless plug. Marathon. Streaming on all streaming media right now.
Okay.
Y'all go check that out at your earliest convenience.
Okay.
Share it with a friend as well.
Okay.
You have that. I also have To Whom It May Concern, which is it's an unreleased track. That's basically talking about the climb and being in the moment and being approached with negativity, naysayers potentially coming up to you telling you what you can and can't do. And it's basically a vent. That's all it really is. Calabasas as well, Forest Miles. Dropped that on yesterday, man. Y'all go check that out as well.
Okay. This is what this podcast is all about, man. The What's Next podcast is all about bringing the creatives on and talking about your journey. So the song that's on my mind right now is Remember.
Okay.
And another track, Sweet Victory. Which those two are not my favorite songs off of the bigger EP or LP. LP. Okay, but my favorite song on that one is I think it was track number 2.
That's Don't Change.
Don't Change. No. It wasn't Don't Change. It was, damn it. What's the track listing? It's Knowledge. It's Don't Change. It's Avalon Music.
Cloudy Skies.
Cloudy Skies. That's my favorite track on there. Man. But the songs that's on my mind right now is Remember, because that was when I heard your verse on Remember and you said and rapping was a part of the plan. I was like, okay, well, what is the plan? Because so many times as when you start a journey off as such, and the ultimate goal is getting your message across the world and getting and also getting paid for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We'd be foolish to say that wasn't a part of the plan. But when you start off a journey, you forget in your own journey that everybody who is going along this path that you're going on had to start somewhere as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I listen to Remember, man, and you talk and you say, and rapping wasn't even a part of the plan, I want to ask you right when I heard that lyric, what was the plan? Because to tell somebody, in your 20s, hey, you know what? I want to rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I want to act, or I want to do production, man. It's kind of, people look at you like, what? I mean, what you gonna rap about? I know you got that a lot.
Yes. I make music for the ambitious person
Okay.
that is caged in everyday life, suppressing a God level talent.
Okay.
We all possess that talent in something.
Yeah.
And in most cases, we go to jobs that we dislike or, halfway like, or sometimes even jobs or careers that we love, but we're not doing what we per se love, and I get to do that every day, man.
Yeah.
Rapping was not a part of the plan. As far as starting somewhere, I mean, you just said the name for it. I'm sorry, but you look at your influences, and to you they're larger than life, and you have to remember that they were in this spot at one point in time. And that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
For me, this wasn't the plan at all, but I'm glad it happened, man.
So, you know what? I'm just, like I said, I'm super, super excited to be sitting here with you and to be talking about your single that just dropped, Marathon, which is, by the way, I want to honor you by saying that this is the name of the episode, Marathon. But I also I was listening to Avalon Music, man, and I thought it was so coincidental that a lot of people, if we got in a room with 10 people, right?
Right.
We wouldn't be surprised to find out that 10 of those people have driven a Toyota in their life.
I had a Corolla and an Avalon. I'm actually
you know what I'm saying?
Camry.
So they either drove a Camry, they drove an Avalon, or they drove a Corolla. Right. You know what I'm saying? So in Avalon Music, you said lifting by my lonely till my weight is up. And I was thinking about, when I heard that lyric, it made me think about the fact that on this journey, you're really pretty much propelling yourself until you get to the point where people buy into your movement. Right. Talk about what you meant about that one lyric, because that lyric might have been the most profound lyric in that song.
And lifting by my lonely to my weight up, basically saying that this is a no handouts kind of camp. Like, we're around here, like, and of course, shout out to Eric, shout out to Bestie, shout out to Ashley Jones. Shout out to them, shout out to the whole squad. Not to say that it's just me solely by myself, but a lot of times when we sit down, we write these rhymes, and I'm talking about artists. You write these rhymes and you sitting here and it's just you and your thoughts. And there is no.
All good. Take it. Listen, man, this is, as an artist, you know what I'm saying? This is what it is. You know what I mean? This is what it is.
I'm not going to take that call. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that call. Shout out to Jay one time. Hey, I mean, you on your way to work. I know you are.
Yeah.
I can't take that phone call.
Yeah. The What's Next podcast, baby. Continue on.
Shout out to it. You on this journey and you get, is that what I was talking about?
Yeah.
All right. You on this journey and you start off, it's just a normal thing. And once you start to feel like you want support, man, it just grows into something. And once you start wanting to be heard and you start propelling that message, it's almost like you have to buy into it before everybody else does. Because truly, we are our largest doubters, within, self-doubting and, down-talking yourself or downplaying your potential or your trajectory.
Go ahead, take that, man. Houston, Texas, this is what it's all about as an MC. He just dropped a single today. Today is March the 16th. We got 290 days, and my man just dropped a single off of his new album. It's called Marathon. And so I heard it about 20 times while I was running at Memorial today. And, it's one of those tracks that I believe is a nice track, man. It could quite potentially put him on a different level. And so the thing was that when I hit him last night, and I hit him in the DMs last night, and I was like, yo, Tre, can I hear the album? And he was like, it drops tomorrow. And when it dropped today, I hit him and I was like, okay, so it's only saying one track. And he was just like, yeah, it's only one track because I'm going to drop the album later on in the winter. And so it was one of those things where I was just like, damn, I wanted that exclusive. But I understand wanting to keep your project close to you until you're ready to drop it, because in the wrong hands, it could get to anybody and everybody. So while my man comes back and he gets to the microphone to continue on what we were saying, it just, today is, what is today? Today is the 16th, March the 16th, 2019, and we have 290 days left. Before you continue on what you were saying, what do you hope to attain in the next 290 days in the 2019 year?
Man, by the end of this 290 days, I will have wanted to have gained a core following, even if of a small group, a core following that knows my music, that knows the message that I propel, that actually wants to see me grow and flourish from a positive place. Love, health, wealth. I know those are generic answers, man, but to be absolutely honest with you, man, I just want to be happy in the next 290 days. And the one way that I know that I can achieve that happiness is by making sure that day 91 is better than 90, and making sure that my efforts on day 92 are better than my efforts on day 91. So that when we get to day 290, we can look up and say we did everything that we did to get to the spot that we're standing in, and just know that it's coming.
A lot, when I hear your music, especially from the bigger LP, I can't wait for the what's the name of the new album coming out?
It is going to be Chandeliers.
Chandeliers. I can't wait for the Chandelier project, because on the bigger LP, I get a sense that you are in the best state of mind when you're behind that microphone recording.
There's a fearlessness to it. There's a feeling that says I'm doing something that I love doing. I'm doing something that I've worked hard to become good at.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of doubt when I get behind the mic now. On top of the fact that it's not just my message, the more I put into this music, the more people that I eventually get to help, whether that be tangible or intangible.
Okay.
I have an obligation to my family. I have an obligation to friends, my son, his mother, my future wife, whoever you are, if you're watching. I'm working for you, boo, right now. But from a very serious place, I'm in a good place because not only am I propelling myself to the world, I'm also venting, and I'm also getting these feelings out of, anxiety or whatever feelings these songs bring about. It allows me to get them out, and that ultimately creates a better all-around person when you don't have to hold on to your baggage.
Yeah. So this is what I want to do right quick. I want to get into a track off of the bigger LP.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask you about working with Shannon, how that was. And we'll be right back. Houston, Texas, you're watching and listening the What's Next podcast. This is episode 6 marathon. I'm here with my man, Raj. Peace and blessings.
Type of shit we vibe to. This the type of shit we ride to. The hardest part about going forward is not looking back. Look, straight from the thoughts of a nigga is Bobby Seale. Third coasting in a blue Seville. New slave fighting uphill. Feeling like bigger and brighter skies on horizon. I pray to be God's will. Filling notebooks with my visions of hope. Blow the smoke, then coat these scriptures in dope. The life and times of a prophet. Try to renovate existence for my kin. Loyal to the soil and the money spoiling. All my niggas royal. Ghetto boys turn made men. Canvas in the future with different truths of the same sin. Niggas took nothing and made something. Now we live in comfort. Casting my views in living color. Celebrations of pinnacles with my brothers from the climb to finally seeing come ups. Running to my fatherland. Can you hear me, God? Will I see the other side? Can you hear me, God? Tell me you get feeling when I cry. Can you hear me, God? Will they say I'm the best dead or alive? As I stare up at the sky, my nigga E looked in my eyes and said,
I tell my niggas they deserve better, but I can't change the weather. It's cloudy on the other side, ain't it? I tell my niggas they deserve better, but I can't change the weather. It's cloudy on the other side.
Houston, Texas, we're back, man. Round of applause for that. It's still playing underneath our conversation, but we were having such real conversation while Cloudy Skies was playing that I wanted to make sure that it got recorded for me to hear when I go back and listen to the episode like I normally do. But I don't think I've said it, but I think that, when people delve into being artistic, man, I think it's important for them to hear from somebody, not necessarily always in their camp or their family, but for somebody who's a distant follower and fan.
Right.
But I think it's important to say that I'm proud of you, man, because I understand those late nights. You know what I mean? Those your first taste of recording your first verse, and for me, the first time I ever got behind film, right? And I remember watching it and just seeing how weird I looked, but in the same instance, how happy I was to be doing something that I had been thinking about my entire life. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say that I'm proud of you, man, for I'm proud of you for involving me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, you just like, you get to saying I'm gonna do this, and then you like, why would I? Like for me, I was thinking when you hit me years ago, I was thinking, man, damn, I can't wait to hear it, because I understand from the aspect of an artist how important it is to hear that validation, but how important it is to say to somebody who is not expecting it, yo, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. Can you kind of like tell me what you think?
Yeah.
And when you're hearing that you're waiting for that feedback, if it's not like what you want to hear, it's almost like, well, what do you know? You know what I'm saying? And that's just the human side talking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just want to say that I'm proud of you, because I know how hard it is to put out your heart's desire and to allow people to chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that critique is not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to be better.
All right. And I think, we live in a world that doesn't truly understand subjectivity. Everything is subject to opinion and choice and all of that. It's the same reason why we got spicy chips and we have stuff that's not spicy. People have a choice. Like you have some people that like lyrics, you have some people that like instrumentation, you have some people that like ad libs. There are tons of different people that like tons of different things. I think that the gem that you can always give to somebody is telling them, hey man, like just push forward. I think that's what that's ultimately what I was looking for, and that's what you provided me with. And I would be foolish not to involve you in my journey, man, especially when I can look back so deep into my journey in the preliminary moments and say, whoa, like who would have thought that the same conversation the same conversation coming back this many years around would provide the template of the way you do what you do. Like it would give you a benchmark of who you want it to be and how you want it to be seen in people's eyes. And thank you for allowing me to, create and feel like I could. Thank you for being one of the first people that offered that.
I think this might have been the intro to Cloudy Skies. You said the hardest part about going forward is not looking back, and you just answered that question for me a second ago. Talk to us about that moment, that when you walked into that track, and we're gonna get back to Shannon in a second, but talk to us about that moment of making Cloudy Skies. Like when I go back and I think about what my favorite track is of every album that I've ever heard, right?
Yeah.
I don't like to look at the song that I know that everybody's going to nod their head to, but more of the song that people will question and overlook.
Right.
Right. And so for me, Cloudy Skies lyric-wise, beat-wise, production-wise, was a song that I was just like, okay, this dude got something. Talk to us about making that track, man, Cloudy Skies, which, by the way, is on the bigger LP, y'all.
I'll go check that out, please. Cloudy Skies was made in a time of that was a painful time, man. Just being candid. I was going through a breakup, and it was over some things that I didn't agree with. One of the, I won't call it one of the underlying issues, because it really wasn't an underlying issue, but me wanting to do music didn't fit with the trajectory
Oh
that
yeah.
Queen had for
Facts.
herself.
Oh yeah.
Shout out,
Shit.
shout out to B one time.
Yeah.
Because I can't sit up here and say that I experienced a whole lot of bad times with it. It just got bad over time.
Mhm.
Nonetheless, going into the song creation process, it was part hurt, part angry, and co-production from Eric Jackson from E-Class. Cloudy skies. They say it's cloudy on the other side. Ain't it?
Yeah.
Like almost like saying like, you know what, I'm going to do this,
Mhm.
and win, lose, or draw, like whatever happens on the other side, I'm going to be happy with it. And your grass is only greener on the other side if you water it, people. That's the gem of knowledge that I learned in the past, couple years or so, man. Nobody's grass is greener, they just take care of it better. And that's just a testament to moving forward.
Yeah.
The hardest part about going forward is not looking back. Like once I do this, whatever that may be, whether you transfer schools or whether you change majors or whether you change careers, whatever that may be, once you decide to make that choice, like your life is going to change as you know it in a lot of different directions. And there is no going back from that.
Yeah.
And that is the hardest part about going forward. No matter how good it might be on the other side.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, man, and first of all, I don't know why I'm trying to be so secretive. I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast the other day, and he said that we all have our background in music, right?
Right.
And I started to think about my background as it pertains to being a creative and as it pertains to entertainment. And I remember there was a time period where I was managing music, right? And I remember it was 2009. Shouts to my man Mike and Phil. They helped me put together the Can I Sing For You talent show that I did back in the day at U of H. And it was a little after that I met Shannon Dean, right? And I remember being on the phone and she was singing for me. And I remember telling her, like, you know what, you gotta, after that little rendition or audition, whatever you want to call it, I remember telling her, you gotta get out of the shell of being shook to do what you like to do. I'm paraphrasing, but I remember having that conversation with her. All in all, I realized this is way before I was an actor, still a poet at the time, but I realized that relationship faltered. But how it came back tenfold was that I'm listening to the bigger LP and I hear the track Sweet Victory featuring her, right? And I think this is before I actually looked at the track listing, because I do this thing where I listen to the tracks, just let it play, and then I heard the track list. I look at the track listing and I see her name. How was that working with her?
First and foremost, shout out to Shannon Dean.
Oh, shout out.
It's definitely time for us to work again. We talked about this a couple days ago, actually. But I actually didn't know Shannon at the time. We had been circling each other in separate relationships with different people for years, just the U of H, kind of like, 6 degrees, And sit in the house, make the beat, vibing to it for a couple weeks. And E-Class is like, hey, man, I got somebody that I think will rock the hook. And, me, I'm all for it. Because it's art. If we like it, let's keep it. If not, scrap it. Start from scratch.
Yeah.
But he called Shannon in, gave her the lyrics. I will say that in the beginning it was a little rocky, just two new artists being uncomfortable around each other. But once we shook that off, man, she did a hell of a job on Sweet Victory.
She did.
To be absolutely honest with everybody watching, man, Sweet Victory was one of my least favorite songs.
Yeah.
And everybody told me that that's not going to be the case, man. Something is going to get added to this song and you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And just so happened that was Shannon Dean's voice.
Yeah. Nas said it best. You put a famous girl on a hook, there goes a platinum CD. That's what he said. That's what he said. I think he said it on God's Son, but that's what he said. And when I heard the track, I was like, yeah. I mean, you get the see, she has a very raspy voice when it comes to singing. And I like that because it not everybody can mimic that. People can always sing higher, but the style of singing that you have is what you cannot mimic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can sing higher, you can sing lower, but you can't change, you can't alter your voice.
Right.
To
your voice is your
to
voice.
sound to sound that way. So yeah, man. But so man, this is what we'll do, man. We've been going about 35 now 40 minutes, man. And I know that you're gonna be dropping an album later on, so I know that we'll have another part to this episode, man. So what I like to do on the podcast is this. I like to bring creatives on, right?
Okay.
Now that a marathon is out and it's available on Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, where else?
All that. I was told that it would be available on Deezer.
Okay.
I know that it's available on YouTube because I searched it there.
Okay.
Give it a couple of days, it should be everywhere, man. But I know right now, if you have paid your bill with Tidal, you can go talk to the good people at Tidal and you can find Marathon. You can also go to iTunes.
Yeah.
Those two places for sure right now. Find that. Very inspiring song, man. It's upbeat.
Yeah.
It's ambitious. It's meant to make your blood flow. It's meant to make you move forward and do for self. You know, it speaks about naysayers and what we can do with their opinions.
And what I got from it when I was listening to it, because I was actually running to it this morning, and what I got is that the journey you're on is not a sprint. It's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take a steady pace and steady commitment to get accomplished what you want to get accomplished.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I like to bring creatives on. And I like to pose this question, the last question of the episode before we wrap it. So we talked about the 290 days left in 2019, but what's next for Tre Rogers? What's next for RMG? What's next for you in terms of your career and moving forward?
Just expounding on what we've built. And we've gotten to the point where we have a solid base of people with a solid knowledge of what they're doing, what they want to do, where they want to go. We're going to be releasing more music, man. We're going to be releasing more music very soon. Forrest Miles is going to be releasing his project this summer, the hottest summer. I definitely know that Forrest Miles is going to be one of the biggest names to come out of Houston, hands down. Unique sound, lyrical, sauce production. Man, you can't take anything away from that kid. We have that. Got my album coming. I'm not gonna tell y'all that, but Chandeliers is gonna be here sooner than later. And earlier you asked me about the songs on my mind, man. I also got one more. That's a Win by Good Time C. That's a Win by Good Time C. That's coming out tomorrow. But shout out to the homie, shout out to the squad. Basically, we just elevate, man. Anybody that wants to work with us with a good vibe, if you have a good product, you have something positive to bring to the table, man, we're open to that. All about our business, though, man. All about our business. If you about yours, let's make something work.
Yeah.
You know?
Houston, Texas, man. That's our time. Peace and blessings.
Yo, it feel like 95. Sachi on my body. Biggie, jigger, puffy. All that ballin' is a hobby. And I'm wildin' in my wallies. Them valleys, no Pilates. More wet, get you more wet. Nah, that's these Spumante. My crystal ball, I see crystal. I crystal y'all with that. I saw the sign like Ace of Spades. That Ace of Spades get cracked me like cheers to the money guy. The Willie niggas who buy them bottles. And then they spill these liquors. Yo, salute my dude. I see you, dawg. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line, but love is shower time. You know it rose rain when your cloud is 9. Get off that high ass hussy. This a private party. Been on my dick too long. Your breath on private party. You gon' be nice nice or naughty. These walls on priceless Audi. This the upper crust, fuck is up. Over and done, overdose. Guess we did it again, sipping with no remorse. We gon' do it